You know, blue sky, couple of Jeeps sitting behind me, Red Rock in the distance. I think that only means one thing. We're sitting in my favorite place, Moab, Utah. Hey, welcome to At Your Leisure, everybody. I'm Scott Huntsman, and I am joined by
Jason Taylor.
Jason Taylor with Canyonlands Jeep Rentals. Is that right?
That is Canyonlands Jeep Adventures here in Moab.
Well, that is absolutely awesome. You know, and we have a very interesting program for all of you today because we're down here, of course, to enjoy this great outdoors area. And again, it's one of my favorite places to come. I have a second home here, so never hurts my feelings to come down here, you know, by all means. But, you know, we love going off-road, and especially with the Jeeps, because I'm such a Jeeper, and of course you rent them. So, you know, it's bread and butter for you.
Well, and I like Jeeping as well.
Yes, exactly. But there is so much that goes on behind the scenes of, you know, this whole trail system and how everybody gets along. And I understand that there's a get-together today where a group of you guys that represent all kinds of different facets of motorized travel through this area get together. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so there's a group in town, or in the county. It's called the Moab Motorized Trail Committee. And it's a user group of everybody that kind of, as it says, of motors, gets together and they talk about the backcountry and they talk about the trails in the area here. You know, so in this group you have someone who represents the Jeepers, you know, you have someone who represents the UTVers and the ATVers. There's someone who represents the e-bikers. There's actually someone who represents the snowmobilers. And then they meet together as a group, and as well as with some of the government agencies that we have down here, like the BLM, the Forest Service, and the county commissioners, and they get together and they talk about what's going on in the backcountry. You know, Moab is, or Grand County, the majority of it is backcountry. You know, it's pretty, this wilderness area that's all around us here. And as we all know, there's a lot of trails.
Sure. There's
single track trails, there's off-roading trails, there's a lot of different trails around the area. And these guys get together and they talk about what's going on in the backcountry. You know, they may be talking about a certain trail and an obstacle on a trail that it maybe has bypasses that didn't have bypasses a few months ago. And they'll get together, they'll come up with a plan to come up and keep people on the trail, you know,
sure.
Whether it's putting in some signage or directions to, you know, to make sure that people are protecting this resource that we have out here so that
sure.
we can all use it in the future, and it's here coming up. They'll get together and they'll do what they call Rake and Rides. Well, they'll go up and just walk the trail or drive the trails and get out and work on different obstacles in the area.
Okay.
So Scott, it's funny that you're here today,
yeah.
You know, because this afternoon these guys are actually having a meeting. And I think it'd be great if you could come and check it out.
I would love to. Please, can I be a part of that?
Well,
you know what? I think that is a great idea. I'm really excited to go check that out. I want to see what goes on here. So, well, I'll tell you what, then that's going to happen here just a little bit. I guess we'll just jump in and maybe head down into town and go check that out. So, hey, we're going to run down. We're going to check out this meeting. Why don't you guys, in the meantime, check out this week's Where To? Hey, welcome back to At Your Leisure, everybody. You know, I've been sitting in on this meeting, Motorized Trails Committee meeting, and it's really refreshing to see the cooperation between BLM government, private citizens, and industry down here in the Moab area about how they care for the trails and what they want to discuss as far as improvements are concerned. Everything from markings of the trail to how the trail is used, trail safety, even erosion of the trails and how they can better address that and what they're going to do about that. Cliff Coons is the executive director of Ride with Respect, and he's a powerful voice within this committee meeting. Let's talk with Cliff right now and see what his organization is all about.
My day job is directing Ride with Respect, a 501c3 nonprofit based in Moab. And Ride with Respect, along with other motorized trails groups, based in Moab, like the Moab Fronts for Wheelin' and Red Rock four-wheelers, have for decades spent over 20,000 hours each doing service work on public lands. So in 2019, enthusiasts from all different varieties of trail use, jeeping, side-by-side, ATV, motorcycle, e-bike, and snowmobile. We approached the commission. They agreed that it could be mutually beneficial, and we started meeting on a monthly basis. In addition to those regular meetings, we do monthly outings that we typically call a Rake and Ride, which is more of that service work. You know, a lot of it is on a site-specific basis. So if there's a problem on one part of one trail, we'll talk with the land managers about what the problem is, what's causing it, what the potential solution might be, and what resources we can pull together to get it done. We want to be there as an opportunity for them to collaborate anytime they're interested in taking us up on it. And one would be at the Sandflats Recreation Area, just refining that travel management plan, or TMP. For that, actually, we just coordinated with the Sandflats Recreation Area Stewardship Committee. We kind of whittled down what the consensus was, and it took a couple of years, but we got it done. The Sandflats staff is supporting it, and we did the initial implementation, but they're willing to maintain it thereafter, which we greatly appreciate. It's a beautiful place. It really lends itself to great trails that have, you know, all the characteristics we're looking for, from the flow of the trail to the challenge. But then there's also a challenge in management. It takes a lot of work to accommodate millions of visits a year from an increasingly wide variety of uses, some of which are getting larger and faster. And it totally can be done, but it takes constructive work. A lot of times we're spinning our wheels. To some extent, wheel spin is necessary to get yourself around the turn, literally and figuratively. But recreation management is not rocket science. It does take some experience, but it mostly just takes a good faith effort from the entire community.
Hey everybody, you know, that Motorized Trails Committee seems to be very effective. I like the way that they handled all of themselves in that meeting and what they're going to accomplish. But right now we're all going to the Hell's Revenge Trail to do a little bit of trail work, so stay tuned. Hey, welcome back to At Your Leisure, everybody. We're on the Hell's Revenge Trail with the Motorized Trails Committee, and we're doing a little bit of trail work. Hey, let's see what we're doing.
I mean, because Moab is so popular, the phrase that we're being loved to death, I think, is very accurate. You know, I think education is the biggest thing that we need to concentrate on, and let people know that this desert environment is extremely fragile, and that we absolutely have to stick to trails. We have to respect where those boundaries are, and do a little bit more when you come here to take care of this terrain, because if everyone acts well and is responsible for themselves and for their particular communities, then we can all get along and enjoy the land, and also to get along with other user groups. That's a huge thing.
As a matter of fact, what we're standing here right in front of, knowing that this used to be an existing trail, and it would really add another feature and an easier way back to the head of the trail if you want to get all the way to Tip Over Challenge, do that last obstacle and not go the rougher, less fun way out on the trail. So I had a chance to advocate to get this opened up, and it took about 2.5 years, and just this spring we were actually able to come out here, finally mark the trail, and that was super cool. We got to add one more obstacle to Hell's Revenge. We call it the staircase, and that puts you right back up on top of Roller Coaster Hill. Or if you don't want to do that obstacle, there's a bypass that goes down some easy sandy turns, and you're back on at the bottom of coming out right there by Abyss Canyon.
Yeah, we hope just to get more people involved in the management of public lands, more people involved in their public lands. And with this group, we specifically hope to get more people involved with the motorized trails. At the same time, you know, we want to take care of these motorized trails. We want to fix the problems, address problems, and try to look in the future and see how we can better manage these motorized trails for the public in general and the Moab community.
We do a monthly Rake and Ride where it's kind of 50-50, have fun and do some work, especially out here in the desert. The trails are not enclosed by a forest, so it is possible to just go driving anywhere. And because of our biological soil crusts, it leaves a track that others are likely to follow. So it is important work to just come out and either rake tracks, move sticks onto tracks that are off route. And so it's just, you know, cover ground, take note of what's going on, and just block off off-trail travel.
And the Motorized Trail Committee is made up of a lot of volunteers, and we're really thrilled that they're able to come up here and help us. They come a few times a year, they get a lot of volunteers to come up, and we work on different areas where we see problems. I'll meet with Cliff ahead of time and other members of the committee and my staff, and we'll go out, we'll let them know about problem spots, or the committee members will let us know about problem spots, and we'll get together, figure out what we want to do, and then schedule the day.
Just treat the land with respect, because if you keep treating it with respect, and we don't abuse our land here, then people will be able to enjoy it for many generations. And if we come and don't do that, then it's not going to be here for us.
Absolutely impressive work by all these guys. They make a great team, and we sure do appreciate all the work that they do. In the meantime, while we move on to the next spot, you check out this week's Along the Way adventure. The stunning beauty of Moab. This is what draws me to this place. And I love the trail system here. Isn't it great how an organization like the Motorized Trails Committee gets together, works together, does everything that they do to help take care of these trails. But you know, we have our part to do too. So I encourage you to do your part and tread lightly and stay on the trail, because it's just going to take care of it for all of us and our future generations to come. So in the meantime, you guys go check out next week's show. All right, as you can see, what a fine group of folks, hardworking. They've come up with some great things going on here, and what a better place to be than the brand new route that comes out of Hell's Revenge, leads down to the staircase. We're gonna run it here in just a couple of minutes. I think this is just absolutely fantastic and beautiful. It's my favorite place to be. You know, these folks work really hard. They work together. They work with the government agencies. They really do a great job at doing this stuff. Motorized Trails of Grand County, the committee that is, they're all here together. I have to say thank you for having us over here. And what we all want to do is we want to encourage you to get off your couch and create your own adventure at your leisure. Come on, guys, let's go.
Heck yeah.